jerks. I'm nowhere near the top. We got, you know, low body dudes that can just move weight like crazy. So I'll say for the most part I was up there, but some of the lifts I wasn't close. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like we had some guys, like we had dudes cross town that, you know, won state championships in weightlifting. So I like to think I was one of the stronger guys. I look like I was one of the strongest, but man, there's definitely a lot of guys around the area that way stronger than me, for sure.
So on the field in high school, was it all O-line for you, or did they move you O-line, D-line? What positions did you play?
Man, so I started off D-line on JV, had some good games, but, you know, my coach, Coach Ship back in the day over at Fleming Island, he saw the way I moved, and he's like, you know, obviously I can take offense to this now, but at the end of the day, he was right. He's like, I think you should play O-line, and that's every D-lineman's worst dream, is to hearing that you should go play O-line.
Nah, facts.
So I'm like, man, I'm gonna quit. Like, fuck this. Like, because, you know, you just didn't want to hear it. And, you know, I clown the kids for it today, but it's like, you know, I tell them that, like, look, I was ready to quit when I heard those words. But at the end of the day, you know, my coach saw something in me that said, hey, you need to go play this side of the ball. And so, yeah, I really played it on JV, and I played it a little bit my senior year. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. It was only like goal line situation, short yard stuff, you know, just somewhere you need a big body to go in there and, you know, just knock a couple people back. But yeah, man, O-line's been my baby. I started off at tackle in high school, and then college I got moved to guard, did a little blocking tight end stuff. I go transfer up to Boston College. I get moved back out to tackle. I get drafted to San Fran. First thing my coach tells me when I show up is get tackle out your fucking head. And I look over, I see Alden Smith over there fucking up Joe Staley, and I'm like, man, fuck it, I don't want to play that shit. like you can have it, man. I want to be out there with that motherfucker. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, I'm moving back to guard. My coach, he's like, look, you want to make the team? I'm like, yeah, no shit. He said, learn how to snap. I'm like, bro, I'm 6'5". Like, I've only seen like 2 6'5" guys, and that's the Pouncey twins. So I'm like, fuck it, you know, got to make this team. The more you can do. So learn how to snap. Played mainly guard center in the NFL and XFL.
Gotcha, man. So let's take it back to high school a little bit, man. So when I was in high school, man, I was like, I was six, like I'm 6 foot now, but I might have been like 5'11", pushing 6 foot in high school trying to get recruited. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of hard when you play D-line trying to get recruited at that size. Mm-hmm. What is it like being the 6'5" guy on the D-line? Because I had like, it was a couple guys that was bigger than me that I started over that coaches was coming to see. Mm-hmm. So what is it like being that guy that the coaches are coming to see, man?
Man, so I ain't gonna lie, man. It's cool. You know, it was a cool, you know, ego stroke, and it was a cool measuring tool. You know, it's like, okay, you know, I know I've put in so much work to, you know, get my body to this point, you know, get my body to work to this point. Obviously, you know, not being naive that, you know, I'm 6'5", but, you know, it's a cool feeling. You know, you see all these different D1 head coaches, position coaches, guys that you see on TV, guys that are legends, and they're coming to your school to, you know, come check you out. And it's cool, to be honest, you know, because like you said, you grow up and you see these guys on TV, but then you got your teammates coming to you like, oh man, that was Urban Meyer, that was Nick Saban, that was whoever, you know, coming to see you. And it's humbling, you know, because obviously, you know, seeing the reactions of your teammates, you know, damn well all of them would love for that coach to be coming out and looking at them, you know? So it's humbling in that way where it's like, yeah, it's awesome, but it's like, man, I can't be out here rubbing this in anybody's face or, you know, shitting on anybody, you know, because that coach isn't coming to see them. So it's cool because of, you know, like I said, you're able to see like, damn, I put in all this work and all these big time coaches want to, you know, come have me join their team. So it's definitely a, you know, dope feeling back in the day.
So what offers did you have other than Florida coming out of high school?
Man, like I said, I had everything ranging from, you know, Florida, USC, everywhere, all the way to, like I said, Princeton. Like, I don't know how Princeton, they must have really messed up the records, but like I said, like I got all the SEC, ACC, Big Ten, Pac-12. Like, I had every offer except for Texas, and that's because at the time, Texas wasn't offering people outside of Texas unless you were, in their eyes, the absolute motherfucker. Like you had to be that clear-cut motherfucking dude, like outside of Texas, for them to offer you. So. Honestly, I feel like Texas was the only offer I didn't have.
I mean, Texas don't really need to go outside of Texas. You ever been to Texas, man?
Nah, and it made sense because when we were in high school, we're like, man, Texas football can't be that fucking good. And it's like, you get older and, obviously with social media blowing up around, the time I was in college, you start to see like, okay, yeah, like they got some grown ass men out there in Texas playing high school ball, and it's super serious. So, you definitely understand it as you get older. Like, yeah, if all these kids, truly love whether it's the state of Texas or the University of Texas, it's like, hell yeah, you don't have to leave. So if we are gonna leave the state, it better be somebody worth our fucking while. So you get it. As you get older, for sure, it's like, it's smart. Because if you get all the top talent in Texas to come to Texas, it don't matter the year, you're probably gonna dominate, So it makes sense.
Yeah, bro, you gotta be superhuman to put the pads on out there, man. I used to work for the PGA Tour, man, and I was out there in Arlington, Texas, shooting a tournament, and that was man. What I don't wish Texas on nobody. It feel like hell out there, bro. Like when the sun clock in, it don't clock out till it get dark. It's hot all day. It's hot all day, man.
No, that's a fact.
So, what visits did you take for your I already know I must have hit some. What visits did you take?
Nah, man, I only took one. Like, I took my visit to Florida and that's it.
Really?
Like I said, I had all these schools, but and I grew up an LSU fan. We lived in New Orleans when I was a kid. That was one of the places my parents were stationed. I loved it. I was a New Orleans fan, Saints fan, LSU fan, and I don't know. It's like the time when I was in high school, Florida was it. They're coming off of winning, the first championship in '06, and that was either my 8th grade or freshman year of high school. So they're hot at the time. Then they win again in '08, and that's when my recruiting started, picking up. And, you kind of get blinded by it. You get blinded by the success, and, all the first-round picks are sending out of Florida, all the talent that's getting to the league. And, then you start talking to Urban Meyer and visiting Urban Meyer, you're seeing the environment, and it's like, the motherfucker's got a psychology degree. So it's like, he's 45 years old, knows all this shit about psychology. He sees 16 and 17-year-olds, and that's easy money for him, So, he knew how to, get in an athlete's brain and, what was ultimately gonna, make certain athletes, like bring out that competitive fire. So, it's just certain things that he would say during recruiting where a lot of people, like a lot of kids today, like if they had to deal with Urban Meyer, they'd get turned off so quick. They'd be like, man, fuck this motherfucker. I'm a 4 or 5 star dude, and this motherfucker's challenging me saying that I don't have this, I don't have that. But, really he's just sitting there, just seeing how you respond, like seeing if, that competitive fire is gonna come through those eyes. And I feel like ultimately, amongst other things, like that's one thing that kind of drew me to Florida. It's like, okay, like I'm gonna go somewhere where I'm being pushed. Like all these different schools, they'll promise you like, oh, playing time. Even though I said I gained 60 pounds, I was only 250 my senior year. So where the fuck am I gonna play in the SEC at 250? And nowhere. Like you ain't even playing at fucking Vanderbilt. No disrespect to Vanderbilt, but like you're not playing anywhere in the SEC at 250. Even if I gain as much weight as I can that summer, I was sitting at 275. You ain't playing in the SEC at 275. So, these coaches are full of shit. I'm not gonna play at their school year one. I know I got to develop, and Urban and Adazio, the O-line coach, they both shot it straight with me. They're like, look, you're skinny as fuck. there's no way you're gonna gain the necessary weight to come in here and play. Like even if you gain 300 pounds, you're not gonna be as sturdy and as strong as we need you to be against these freak athletes out here. Excuse me. So yeah, they shot it to me straight, and you can do nothing but respect it. So yeah, that's ultimately why I chose Florida over all the other places. Like I like Miami because my left tackle in high school signed with Miami the year before me. He was 09. But I didn't like the head coach. I didn't like Al Golden. He seemed like a fake motherfucker. And then you get around different guys of the league that played at the U, and you bring it up like, man, how was it? How was Al Golden? And every single one of them, man, fuck that motherfucker. Like every single one of them. It doesn't matter if they black, white, Hispanic. Like it don't matter. Like every fucking buddy you talk to during that time is like, man, fuck that guy. So I feel like I dodged a little bit of a bullet, but I still wound up with Will Muschamp. So it all came back in the end, I guess. Deal was an asshole some way.
Hey, they say, man, you don't gotta be a good person when you're a coach. You just gotta win games.
Hey, and look, if you win games, hell yeah, like that shit gets brushed under the rug. But the second you start losing, like both them coaches I mentioned, like once they start losing shit, even Urban Meyer, once you start losing or it's not going the way the boosters and fans anticipated, you're gonna see like that person's just a real deal asshole, and he ain't even good at coaching for the most part. They just got lucky with some good talent. I'm not saying that's Urban, but that's just how how it goes with some coaches. So you right, man. It's like, and I tell kids all the time, man, it's like at the end of the day, like, most of these coaches are assholes, plain and simple. Like there ain't no other way to cut it.